Welcome to our broadcast, Growth Through Partnerships, the benefits of a strong security portfolio approach, brought to you by Avast Business. I'm your host, Kenna Johnson from the Channel Company. I'm joined by Massimo Rapparini, head of Avast Business, to learn about the steps to building a security-minded organization and how to successfully navigate the journey. Welcome, Massimo.
Thank you, Kenna. Great to be here.
Segment 1. The challenges of running a profitable IT business. What challenges do IT service providers and resellers face keeping up with evolving security threats?
It's a great question, Kenna. I think for this audience, obviously, 100% important. I think if you think about where service providers and resellers are, they're kind of caught between their customers and what's happening in the industry and outside in the outside world. And I think trying to future-proof their services, I think, is priority number one. Thinking about how the value that they provide to their customers and how they can stay ahead of the new trends, benefiting from technical innovation, technology innovation to support their customers, right? So ultimately, I think that's something that they can partner with companies like ours, like Avast, to figure out how to actually bring that value and increase the value to their customers. I think the second aspect is, as the industry evolves and digital adoption continues to grow, expanding the scope of what they do, right? So what IT service providers are expected to do for their customers is also really, really important. And so trying to be agile, flexible, and again, trying to stay ahead of the curve is going to continue to be important. I'll share some numbers here in terms of things that we've seen and that I think have benefited our partners and our customers. So back in 2022, at Avast, we blocked over 2.5 million threats each month that were impacting business users in particular. And if you think about ransomware, that's another 9,000 threats that happened each month as well that we've been able to support our partners with protecting our customers for. In 2023, the majority of the threats that we've seen continue to be things like scams and phishing. And back to the first priority that I mentioned, trying to stay ahead of the increasing innovative threats that are out there. The challenge emerging today with artificial intelligence and with generative AI is a great example of where more and more sophisticated threats are emerging that our partners need to stay ahead of. Just this week, there was an example of a phishing as a service company that was busted by the Interpol. There was a business that was really building through generative AI a whole model to try to actually scam companies and businesses, right? And so that's an example where if you're an IT service provider, if you're an IT reseller, and trying to find ways that you can stay ahead of these more sophisticated, not just technologies, but business models is going to be increasingly important.
Massimo, why is the break-fix model not sustainable?
The fact that threats continue to evolve, the fact that industry continues to adopt more and more sophisticated technology means that if you're in reactive mode, you're always going to be behind the ball, right? You're not going to really be able to help your customers be able to actually stay ahead of what they need. And so I think what you need to think about is a way that you can also proactively not only out-innovate, so to speak, the malicious actors and the threats that are out there, but also try to out-innovate how you can service your customers and help your businesses be protected and prevent them from being at risk. So the break-fix model works when you're just trying to kind of get by. But I think more and more IT service providers and resellers are looking for ways to actually grow and really be successful and help their customers grow as well. And so I think that's something that you really need to rethink and find ways that you can adopt new business models that will help you grow.
That leads us to our next question. Why should IT service providers and MSPs transition to a more proactive approach?
The more proactive approach, I think, is a win-win for everybody. As an example, what we've been doing with Avast, where with our partner program, what we're trying to do is continuously provide new ways for IT service providers to support their customers. And so not only with products that are flexible and modular, so you can actually provide the right level of protection and security for your customers as an IT service provider, but also, like I said, embed new technologies and new innovation and make that really part of the value proposition altogether. So we're not going to charge you more for, we have a new feature that now helps you protect your privacy, or a new feature that helps you with mobile devices, but continue to add more and more value such that, again, you're proactively trying to stay ahead of some of these emerging risks and threats. And I think ultimately, again, if you're successful as IT service providers, your customers are successful, then we all, kind of win together.
That brings us to segment 2, grow your revenue by partnering with Avast Business. How do MSPs and IT resellers scale their business with security solutions?
I think scaling is the key word in that question, right? And ultimately, when you think about scaling, It means that number one, you're going to try to service customers that have a very different type of size and need, but also very different sophistication when it comes to digital maturity. And so I think what you want to do as an IT solution provider is really provide offerings that grow with your customer, an offering that is able to service them when they're maybe just emerging, when they're just starting up. But then as they evolve and they grow, they can actually add more sophistication, more features, and more capabilities that allow them to also stay better protected. At Avast, we have that. I think that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is trying to figure out ways that we can continuously service you through the, let's say, life cycle of your evolution. And again, I mentioned earlier the digital maturity. That's an important aspect, because you can also have businesses that are relatively small, but very highly sophisticated in terms of digital maturity. Maybe their whole business is online. Maybe they operate with partners that are all operating online. And the reality is then you're using technology in a way that is probably beyond the scale that your business represents, but at the same time requires you to be very sophisticated in terms of protective measures. Scaling your business with security solutions means that you actually need to have a portfolio approach. You have a portfolio of products and solutions that are very tailored to not only the scale, like I said, but also the digital maturity of your customers.
How does Avast Business provide scalable solutions to support portfolio growth?
I think there's a key number of aspects that are built into our solutions and our portfolio products. Flexibility, I think, is an important one. So again, the fact that it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not you have to buy one particular suite of products, and if it's, overkill for the needs that you have, then too bad. If it's not suitable and you need to buy something in addition to complement it, then again, you're on your own. The idea is that it's really flexible and allows you to, again, leverage what's needed for the type of security protection you need. The second aspect I would say is simplicity and really the ability to augment solutions, right? So if you're going to have an evolving set of customers and lots of service providers may be serving and supporting customers that are relatively small. Some of them are maybe the higher end of the small, medium business market. But you need to be able to, as a service provider, to be able to service them all, and also as they evolve through their own growth journey. So I think the ability to augment these solutions with increasing capabilities as you grow and your customers grow is going to be continuously important for IT service providers as well. The key other aspect of Avast in terms of scalable solutions is the fact that we also try to price things attractively, right? So ultimately, things need to continue to be affordable. Yes, it's a critical capability you need as a business, that you have the right level of security. At the same time, that's not your core business, right? It's one of the things you potentially want to think, less about than, being able to truly actually thrive and have a growing business. And so we're conscious of that. With our partners, the same. And I think we want to provide something that feels like the right level of security for an affordable price as well.
How does Avast Partner Program help support the needs of your partners?
Partners is really for us a key element of our own business scaling and our own business being able to reach, over 400 million small and medium businesses that are out there in the world. That's a staggering number. And we've only scratched the surface in terms of the ones that we can actually help and support. And for us to be able to do that, we really look for partners to help us with that scale. And so, yes, we have standard features like, discounting programs and, providing access to important resources. And like I said at the beginning of your segment, how do we actually provide you continuously innovation and things that allow you to stay ahead of the threats. Ultimately, really what differentiates us is, I think, our desire to build lasting relationships. And for us to do that with our partners, we really want to reward loyalty. We want to incentivize growth and really provide unique resources and assets that make you as a partner more attractive to your customers. I think we're looking to really partner with the IT service providers and resellers that have that same mindset, that are looking for, let's say, not a speed dating type of relationship, but a long-term kind of marriage, right? That we're really doing this together for the long term, the benefit of your customers and the benefit of us all collectively. So you'll see more, I think, as we evolve our partner program as well. There's plans that we have for this year as well as into next year, but all of them with the intent, like I said, of building this long-term loyalty.
Segment 3, a simplified security solution that fits SMBs' needs. How does your security portfolio work to protect SMBs from online threats? How does it help reduce operational costs for resellers and partners?
If you think about Avast Business and the products, we provide enterprise-grade endpoint and network security solutions for SMBs. But the idea is that the direct customers themselves, the end users, but also IT service providers, in ways that really provide an integrated security and privacy set of solutions. And yes, the element of affordability is important. To continue to protect complex and evolving network security layers is important too. And so the idea is that it is comprehensive. At the same time, it has that ability to be scalable. And at the same time, it has that affordability aspect as well. One thing that not a lot of people are aware of, we're backed by a huge threat detection network, over 500 million devices in the world that are providing insights and data and information about potential threats and attacks that they're exposed to. And this is one of the largest and most advanced in the world. And the benefit of that is that we can use them technology, like I mentioned at the beginning, like machine learning, artificial intelligence, maybe something that threat actors are using, but also benefits companies like ours. And using artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can help detect and stop threats in real time using that threat detection network. That's one example of some of the things that we do that help our customers ultimately. I think going back to the fact that we have customers and partners with very diverse needs, various levels of digital maturity and growth stages, we want to continue to expand our SMB offerings, right? And so you'll see more in the next year as well in terms of new launches from our portfolio approach that include ways that people can actually bundle different offerings based on, their needs and their requirements. And I think that goes back to the flexibility, the affordability, as well as the ability to scale with your growth.
Speaking about partners' needs, how does your sales team help partners generate business and stay competitive in the market?
Ultimately, we see our sales team as really the trusted partner of our partners and the IT service providers. Right? We're trying to enable you to be successful if you're an Avast Business partner and an Avast reseller. And so the idea is that we not only do things like, help you with marketing leads, but also, really sales leads and qualifying those, but also help you really try to build that awareness and provide you with the tools and the assets you need to be able to actually provide a compelling story to your customers. I would encourage everybody who is either considering or is already an Avast Business partner to see those sales roles and those sales team members as an extension of their own team, right? An extension of the ability for them to actually pitch and tell a story to their customers that addresses the needs that they may be having. And ultimately, if those partners are successful, then our sales teams are being successful as well. I think one thing that is maybe additionally somewhat unique to Avast as well is the fact that we can also tap into a broader portfolio of products and solutions that have now, been made available after we merged with Norton last year. And so I think there's the added benefit that if you're really looking to have a broad spectrum of offerings that maybe your customers are looking for, guess what? Your sales team members, our sales team members can actually also provide you access to things that maybe were not, accessible before. So I think there's a lot of positives. Main message is please see them as just an extension of your own team, because ultimately that's really how they want to operate.
That leads us to what benefits do you offer to partners?
Talking about that partnership as a long-term alliance, so to speak, really focusing on the loyalty. We're really focused on allowing partners to grow, providing industry-leading products and services that help keep your customers protected as your business grows and evolve. That's, goal number one. That has to be the priority, right? And that's, I think, what we work on day and night to be able for you to be able to provide to your customers. I think one thing I would describe it as is the better together approach. The better together approach means that, yes, there's value if you operate as an IT service provider, support your customers for things that you're really good at and providing the type of service and the type of expertise and knowledge that you're really the best at. And then there's value that we provide. Just if you look at our technology and our products standalone, that are really compelling. There's, like I mentioned, the threat detection network behind our products. There's new features we're innovating. There's artificial intelligence we're building into it. And all of these, all by itself, are also very compelling. But the added value, the 1 + 1 is not 2, but it's 3, is the better together approach. The fact that then, if you as a service provider are leveraging the tools and the technology and the assets and the people that we provide to support your customers, then ultimately you're going to actually see a much higher level of success, high level of growth, and I think a much more strategic alliance with the likes of Avast Business than if you were to just see us as a general vendor, provider of products versus a real true partner.
Massimo, finally, how can we learn more?
I encourage you for sure to stay tuned for lots of announcements that are coming out from Avast Business in the next few months. Exciting new features that we'll be adding is things like web control. We just launched recently a pay-as-you-go capability for partners, so people can actually have more flexibility in terms of how they engage with our products. But ultimately, for sure, on our website, there's information about the tiers of products that we have. I've asked for Business Essential, a Premium, our Ultimate, and what's all the different features that you can derive from all that. I'm asking all partners and all our IT service providers that are either working with us or thinking of working with us is really reach out to us actively and look for a level of engagement that suits a partnership vision that is beyond just a transactional type of partnership. And so I really welcome the opportunity to talk to anybody. People reach out, and you'll see a lot of our communication coming out in our online outlets as well.
Massimo, thank you so much for your time today.
Great talk to you, Kenna. Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching. For the Channel Company, I'm Kenna Johnson.